Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. Alright, now let's get to the next episode. So we're looking for toothpaste, and we come across alcohol and tape and scissors and whatnot. Looks like a first aid kit to me. Maybe it's not, but it looks like a typical sort of first aid kit supplies to me. I'm missing something, I guess. Finding a hidden picture. Bitch, answer the phone. Don't make daddy mad.
네. 네, 아버지. 예.
그래, 알았다. 그리 갔구만. 저녁 먹으면서 술 한잔 하자. 그래. 오늘 서창동 와적하우스에서 흑장미 만나게 왔다. 새끼 직접 만나서 용서를 빌겠다는데 정신 못 차리고 사박팔방 뛰댕 사트만 좀 정신 차렸는가 봐. 혹시 모르니까 아들 준비시키라. 그놈아, 들게 준비시키고. 야, 막내야. 담배 한 줘. 너는 가만히 야, 막아!
Don't kill your man. Fight choreography. Don't break your man. See, he keeps stopping because he knows. think we need to talk. Or not. Okay. Bye. See you later. Come by the house, maybe. Okay, so that's where that episode pauses. So let's open up this last file. Lord. Baby. Damn. Damn, he really kicked your ass.
형! 형! 미안해, 형.
넌 뭐야?
너 뭐야, 이 새끼야! 나도 이렇게까지 될 줄 몰랐어. 아니, 형, 그냥 다 내 잘못이야. 그냥 다 내가 잘못했어, 형. 어?
알아. 너 왜 거기 있냐?
미안해, 형.
Can't do it.
뭐가 미안한데? 어? 지금 똑바로 말해. 아니면 난 너 진짜를 죽여버릴 거니까. 날 속이는 거야. 응? 나한테 그냥 의도적으로 접근한 거야. 나 죽이려고.
미안해. 맞아! 의도적이었어. 형 제끼려고 일부러 처음부터 그렇게 접근한 거야. 그게 내 일이니까. 하지만 지금은 아니야. 지금 내 마음은 그게 아니라고. 미안해. 미안해.
Like I want them to make up. I want them together, but I don't know how it's feasible.
내가 생각을 해봤는데 내가 평생 동안 이렇게 살아왔거든. 나까짓게 누구를 믿냐? 내가 누구를 믿어? 대체 누구를 믿냐?
다 얘기할게. 하나도 빠짐없이 다. 미안해요. 미안해. 미안해. 괜찮아.
Stop it, you guys. Again, the feelings are still there. I've got a lot to figure out, though.
안녕하세요.
아이고 우리 큰 동생 왔네. 아이고 이게 한참 일로 일로.
누나,
아이고.
진짜 동생 거들떠도 안 보네.
나는 뻑하면 동생이고 나는 잘생긴 우리 새 동생이 좋다. 지수야 배 안 고파? 삼겹살 죽이는 거 사다 놨는데 고기 구워줄까?
아니요, 저는 누나 손맛 들어간 육개장이 제일 좋아요.
누나, 난 고기.
시끄러 임마. 아니 그놈의 육개장은 올 때마다 먹으면서 물리지도 않아?
저는 올 때마다 먹어도 더 맛있던데요.
어이구 말도
He's a
예쁘게
creature of
하네.
habit.
그래 얼른 고기 쪽쪽 찢어가지고 맛있게 팔팔 끓여줄게. 조금만 기다려.
고기 많이 넣어.
으이구.
뭘 맨날 의이구야. 때리지도 못하면서.
뭐? 내가 너를 또 믿으라고. 택정한 소리 하고 있네. 뭐라? 야, 나르드카는 너가 알아서 할 문제고 들깨를 지키듯 살리는 너가 뭔 상관이야? 그래, 뱀대가리가 됐지.
정신 나간 늙은이 씨. 두 놈이 붙어서 놀아난다고 말을 했는데도 씨.
그래, 좋아. 내 쪽에서 둘 다 처리를 해야 되겠구나. 나를 배신한 새끼들이 어떻게 되는지 이거는 확실히 보여주지 뭐.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to die. I'm gonna need you to just cease living.
나르드카, 들깨. 내가 뭐한 짓을 해도 좋다마나 세상 밖으로만 나오지 마라.
네가 기어이 일을 내고 마누라. 난 죽어도 내 편인 사냥개가 필요했어. 저는요, 쥐새끼도 사냥개도 아니라 사람인데요.
Okay. So pause that there. So it looks looks like we're getting the final showdown, which makes sense because it's the final episode, final act of this series. But yeah, so the acting in this episode, I mean, the acting in all the episodes has been great, but like, I could see and feel every thought, every emotion going on in Jisoo's mind when Jitae came back. After Jitae ran off, you know, got revealed, got his ass kicked, and then ran off, and then he came back, and then Jisoo pushed him up against the wall, and he's like, you know, just tell me everything, or, you know, where you said here, whatever he was saying. Like, and Jitae just keeps apologizing. I'm sorry. And like, they would just do close up on Chisa's face, and like, I could just see every single thought, every emotion, every bit of betrayal, every bit of heartbreak. Like, I could feel his heart breaking as I was watching it, and it was just like, oh, like, he's trying to speak and his mouth is trembling. You can see the tears in his eyes. You can see, and then, you know, later on in, you know, the argument, or later on in the conversation, he says all the things that I was seeing in his eyes during that moment. You know, I saw myself in living this kind of life before. Who can I possibly trust? How am I supposed to trust people? And, you know, like, he really felt like he'd found someone, even though he wasn't being 100%. Well, maybe he was being honest with him. I don't know, because Jitae knew about him being having a foster parent who was his boss of his group or organization. I forget the terminology that he used a couple episodes back. But he knew that his foster dad was the boss of whatever group or organization that he was a part of. I don't know if he knew, or, well, obviously he knew the whole background, but I don't know if Jisoo told him, like, what the group that his dad is in charge of actually does. Like, hey, it's a gang thing happening, or if he just thinks it's just some sort of business group. Like, I don't know how much information Jisoo divulged to him. So, you know, maybe he did know. Maybe he was forthright. But what I was gonna say is, you know, maybe he wasn't completely 100% forthright with all the information, you know, did give him all his background. Well, no, I'm processing things out loud as I'm saying them. But, because when they were in the bathtub, Jitae mentioned whatever novel that Jisoo's reading. It's like, yeah, this character reminds me of you, and then Jisoo's like, I could never be a hitman, or I could never be an assassin, or whatever the terminology was that they were using. So that leads me to believe that he didn't tell Jitae about his, you know, training and about his being an assassin. So Jitae knows that his foster dad is his boss of this group, but he may not have known the full extent. Well, I mean, he knew the full extent, but Jisoo didn't tell him the full extent. Sorry, that was a very muddled thought process going on in my head. But yeah, so like, but for the most part, he'd been nothing but honest. He might have neglected, or he might have left out information for the sake of keeping this person that he cared about safe, but he never lied to him. So I could just see him, like, he finally found somebody that he felt like he could trust, someone he loved, someone he built a connection with, and it was based on this lie that, you know, Jitae already knew who he was, and he was sent to kill him. And, you know, in the midst of being sent to kill him, you know, they bonded and he fell for him. But, you know, the relationship was still built on this lie. So, like, he's like, how can I trust anybody? Who am I supposed to trust? And Jitae is just holding him, hugging him, like, I'm sorry. I'll tell you everything. I'm sorry. And, like, you could see that he meant it. and I'm happy that it worked out the way that it did, because I know there's a lot of times whenever I'm watching TV shows or movies and something, maybe not exactly this scenario, but something like this situation happens where like the relationship was built on some sort of fabrication, some sort of lie or something. Take like She's All That or something. Freddie Prinze Jr. and Rachel Lee Cook, their relationship was, he didn't tell her that, yeah, I took a bet that I could make you the prettiest girl in school or most popular girl in school, and he just started it, and then after the fact it came out, and then she got all upset and whatnot. A lot of other movies, TV shows, that kind of thing, where the relationship was built on a lie for someone in the relationship, and that's the big conflict there towards the end. But when things like that happen, I always just in my heart feel like I just want that person to just hug them or kiss them and just say, I'm sorry, and have that be enough. Like, I just want that to be enough, because I don't like conflict. I don't like people fighting. I don't like to see relationships dissolve, especially like when I've spent this whole time watching the relationship get built up. And it's in this ideal, romantic, just perfect kind of lovey-dovey kind of place. Like, I don't want to see that crash and burn. So for me, I want to have whatever this conflict be resolved as quickly as possible, and I want it to just be as simple as I'm sorry, and just have our feelings, have our love be enough to save the relationship. I want that to be the case. So I was happy that that was the case here, where yes, Jisoo, he was severely hurt, like emotionally, just dagger through the heart. And every time he went to go punch him, like he couldn't do anything to hurt him. And same thing when they were doing the fighting, Jitae, like, he had lots of opportunities to like land like a crippling or finishing blow on Chisao, and he'd step back, or he'd pause or whatever, because he didn't want to hurt him. So I was happy that just having Jitae just hug him and just hold him and just like, I'm sorry, that was enough to at least have Chisao hear him out. Like, he didn't run off and like, screw you or whatnot. Then we have this long extended period where, each person's got to think about things independently and, ponder, and then eventually come back together. Like, we didn't have to go through all that. Just, being genuinely sorry and apologetic was enough for that situation. So then they went back to the place, and he was patching him up, and then they did more of the kissing stuff, which, like, I don't know, that kiss might be my favorite that I've seen in the series as far. Like, they've all been great kisses, don't get me wrong, but like, I could feel the passion. Like, yes, we just went through this ordeal here, we went through this battle, we went through this big emotionally exhausting thing, but at the end of the day, I still have these feelings for you, you still have these feelings for me, and the passion is still there, and it just I could just feel the passion in the kisses, because I've watched a lot of boys kiss. You may or may not know this about me, but I'm somewhat of a homosexual myself, and I've been on the receiving end of a kiss or two in my life. But I've watched a number of boys kiss in TV and films and documentaries of sorts and whatnot, and like, they're not always the best. I'm not gonna say technical kisses. Like, yes, the moment builds up really nicely. Like, even some of the BL series I've watched, like, the moments build up so nicely to that kiss, and I'm super excited about that moment of the people kissing. I'm like, oh, yes, oh, so satisfying. But then, like, when I actually go back to edit and I'm like watching the kiss itself, I'm like, that kiss don't actually look very, like, if I were the person involved in this kiss, I don't feel like I would find this kiss enjoyable. That's not always the case. There have been some fantastic kisses that I've watched in some of the BL series that I've done, but there have been some kisses where I'm like, from an actual kissing technique kind of thing, it just looks like we're just, this is whatever. But like this, I felt this kiss in my loins. I felt the burn in it, and I'm like, yes, praise Jesus. But yeah, so I've babbled. I'm debating whether or not, because I've kind of sort of paused in between the episodes a little bit, I think maybe except for like the first two. So I might just instead of making this one long ass like 2-hour reaction video, I might just segment it after like an episode or after 2 episodes, after I do my commentary and whatnot. I'll have to wait and see when I go to edit this. But yeah, I'm gonna stop babbling and we're gonna dive into the final act of this episode 5. And yeah, cool. And before you guys go, a shout out to my amazing patrons. I can't begin to express how thankful I am for your support. And if you guys would like to join us over on Patreon, the link is down in the description. I love you guys.